All right. So this deep dive is it's really all about you
Yeah,
and your quest for a sharper, happier, healthier brain.
absolutely.
You know, you've given us Genius Foods, this book that's clearly like piqued your interest.
Fascinating.
And I have to say, I'm intrigued too. You know, the author's personal story about his mother struggling with cognitive decline that really hit home for me.
Right.
Makes you think about your own brain health.
Yeah, it's a really powerful motivator for a lot of people, I think. And what's interesting about this book is it doesn't just preach, eat this not.
Right.
It really digs into the science behind those recommendations. And I think it really empowers the reader to understand why those foods matter.
Exactly. We're not after a grocery list where we want knowledge, right?
Absolutely.
And so the book kicks off with this idea that our modern world is almost like a sensory deprivation chamber for our Stone Age brains.
It is.
So do you ever feel like your brain is kind of stuck on autopilot or like it's craving more stimulation?
Oh, totally. I mean, you think about our ancestors, hunter-gatherers, they were constantly adapting. That they were problem solving.
Right.
They were exploring, looking for food. Their brains were engaged all the time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Then came agriculture.
Yeah.
And suddenly life became more routine, less demanding on the brain.
Right. And I think the book makes the point that this shift might have led to just less cognitive stimulation and maybe even contributed to the fact that our brains have actually shrunk since then
Wait, really?
by the equivalent of a tennis ball. That's what the book says.
A tennis ball. Wow. That's kind of shocking. So is this decline inevitable or can we actually fight back?
Well, Junius Foods argues that we absolutely can influence our brain health through what we eat.
Interesting.
And it starts with understanding the building blocks,
Okay.
like cell membranes.
Okay. Cell membranes, I vaguely remember those from like biology class.
Yeah.
But remind me, why are they so important for brain health?
They're crucial for communication between brain cells.
Oh.
So imagine them as like tiny ears on each cell, listening for messages from other cells.
Okay.
But these ears need to be flexible and receptive to work properly.
And what impacts that flexibility? Is this where like the fats we eat come in?
Exactly.
Right.
The book uses this great analogy.
Oh,
It
yeah.
says omega-6 and omega-3 fats.
Yeah.
They're like rival soccer teams competing for space in that cell membrane.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So too much of one team throws off the balance.
Exactly. And unfortunately, most of us are consuming way too much omega-6
Okay.
and processed oils, and this makes the membrane stiff and less responsive.
Oh, wow.
So those tiny ears are struggling to hear.
So think about that, like foggy feeling you get after eating like a ton of junk food.
Right.
Maybe it's not just a sugar crash, but your brain cells are literally like struggling to communicate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real possibility.
Wow.
And there's research to show that supplementing with omega-3s can improve what's called executive function, which is attention, planning, decision-making.
Important stuff.
Really important stuff.
Yeah.
By 26%. That's what the research shows.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, omega-3s. Got it.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about sugar.
Okay.
Genius Foods doesn't really sugarcoat it.
Yeah,
Sugar directly impacts brain health.
it does.
Right.
It's not just about weight gain. It's about this process called glycation,
Yeah.
where sugar molecules actually bond to proteins
Okay.
and cause damage. It's almost like your brain is getting rusty over time.
Okay, rusty brain. That's definitely not a look I'm going for.
No, I don't think anyone wants that.
No. And how does this connect to aging then?
Well, we all want to age gracefully.
Right.
That's a goal, I think, for a lot of us.
Yeah.
And controlling sugar intake might be a more powerful tool for that than we realize.
Interesting.
And the book really challenges some assumptions about healthy foods.
Okay.
For instance, did you know that whole wheat bread has a higher glycemic index than table sugar?
Wait, really? Higher than table sugar?
Yeah.
I always thought whole wheat was like the better option.
Yeah, it's a common misconception.
Wow.
The glycemic index measures how quickly a food spikes your blood sugar,
Mm.
and whole wheat bread
Yeah.
spikes it even faster than table sugar, which
Yeah.
means more of that rusting process.
Oh, wow.
That's what the book says.
So Genius Foods suggests that sometimes complete avoidance is the best strategy,
Okay.
especially when it comes to processed foods.
Especially processed foods, yeah.
So moderation isn't always the answer.
Right. I mean, with certain foods, especially those that are designed to be hyperpalatable, it's just much harder to control yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about insulin.
Okay.
We all know it helps our bodies use energy, but
Yeah.
but what does Genius Foods have to say about it?
Well, it really emphasizes how constant insulin spikes are bad news.
Yeah.
They put your body in fat storage mode and neglect essential repair processes.
Right.
It's like accelerating aging,
Right.
even if you're not overweight.
That's a great way to put it. If you want to feel energetic and age well,
Mhm.
insulin control is just crucial,
Yeah.
no matter your weight.
And the book suggests something pretty radical,
Right.
skipping breakfast.
Yeah.
I have to admit that one surprised me.
It goes against everything we've been told.
Yeah, isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day?
That's what we hear, right?
Yeah.
But Genius Foods argues that skipping breakfast might actually be beneficial.
Interesting.
It extends the overnight fast,
Huh.
it lowers insulin, and it might even boost growth hormone.
So maybe it's time to rethink those breakfast routines.
It might be.
Okay, now on to something that sounds almost like a superpower.
Right.
Ketones.
Yeah.
What are they? Why should we care?
So ketones are an alternative fuel source that your brain can use when glucose is low.
Okay.
One of the authors calls it biochemical liposuction.
I like that.
Yeah.
Biochemical liposuction. That sounds pretty good. So how do they actually benefit the brain?
Well, there's growing evidence that ketones can improve brain function, especially as we age.
Okay.
And the book even shares a story about Steve, who was an Alzheimer's patient, who saw significant improvements on a ketogenic diet, which is a diet that's very low in carbs, high in fat, forcing the body to produce ketones.
Wow. That's encouraging.
Yeah,
It's not a cure-all, of course, but it definitely gives you something to think about.
it does.
So does that mean we all need to go like full keto?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Even if you're not fully keto, the book mentions MCT oil
Yeah.
as a potential brain booster.
Okay.
It's a type of fat that's easily converted into ketones.
Okay, MCT oil, noted.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears to something that might seem unrelated, the gut.
Okay.
But Genius Foods makes a pretty compelling case for the gut-brain connection.
It
right?
does, absolutely.
Okay, so explain that to me a little bit more.
So your gut microbiome, which is those trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, are constantly communicating with your brain.
Really?
It's like a vast information highway.
Wow.
And have you ever noticed how stress or eating something that disagrees with you
Cool.
affects your mood?
Yeah.
That might be your gut talking.
Makes sense when you put it that way.
It does, right?
Yeah, I've definitely had those brain fog moments after certain foods.
Yeah.
So here's something that I found really surprising in the book.
Okay.
It highlights a correlation between higher hygiene levels and an increase in Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Like suggesting that too much cleanliness might actually disrupt our microbiome and its role in brain health.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
So a little dirt doesn't hurt.
Well, not necessarily dirt, but exposure to a diverse range of microbes is important for a healthy gut.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one of the best ways to support that?
Well, fiber. Fiber is your friend. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut, it supports healthy digestion, and it helps regulate blood sugar levels.
Fiber, check.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to a happier topic, serotonin.
Yeah.
It's often called the happy hormone, but what does Genius Foods have to say about it?
Well, it goes beyond just that simple label.
Okay.
Serotonin is involved in so much more than just mood, including sleep and even learning.
Interesting.
And the author shares a personal story about how supplementing with vitamin D made him feel happier.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it turns out there's a scientific link there.
Okay, so what's the connection between vitamin D and serotonin?
Vitamin D actually helps our bodies produce serotonin.
Wow.
And a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, especially those who live in northern climates or don't get a lot of sun exposure.
Right.
And it really makes you wonder, how much could this be contributing to mood issues?
Yeah.
It's definitely something to consider.
Okay, and Genius Foods also cautions against trying to force serotonin with drugs like MDMA.
Right. Which can actually damage brain cells.
Yeah, balance is key.
Yeah.
We want to support our brain's natural ability to produce serotonin, not overwhelm them with artificial stimulation.
Right. Okay, so we've got serotonin. Now let's talk about the other members of the Get Stuff Done crew.
Okay.
Dopamine and norepinephrine.
Exactly. Dopamine's all about motivation and reward.
Okay.
That feeling of pleasure, accomplishment.
Yeah.
Norepinephrine keeps us alert and focused, ready to tackle challenges.
Right.
And the book talks about how a gene called COMT
Yeah.
influences how quickly dopamine is broken down in the brain.
So that gene could explain why some people are naturally more driven or focused than others?
It could be a factor, yeah.
Interesting.
Think about your own tendencies. Do
Yeah.
you thrive on novelty and new experiences, or do you crave routine and predictability?
I'm definitely a novelty seeker, always chasing that dopamine rush.
Yeah, there you go.
But Genius Foods also points out that norepinephrine,
Right.
that alertness hormone,
Can be a double-edged sword.
it can it's great for acute focus,
Okay.
but chronic stress
Yeah.
can keep norepinephrine levels elevated, and that's not a good thing.
Right.
It can lead to anxiety, insomnia, even burnout.
So finding ways to manage that stress is crucial for keeping those norepinephrine levels in check.
Absolutely.
Okay, now on to the ultimate brain reset.
Okay.
Sleep.
The sleep, yeah.
It's not just about resting our bodies, is it?
No, not at all. Sleep is when your brain does some of its most important work,
Right.
consolidating memories, clearing out toxins, repairing damage. It's like your brain's nightly power wash.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, and Genius Foods explains how this process is connected to the glymphatic system,
Yes.
which is most active during sleep.
It is.
So skimping on sleep is like letting the garbage pile up in your brain.
Exactly.
Thanks. Okay.
And the book also connects poor sleep to amyloid buildup in the brain,
Right.
which is linked to Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow. That's a scary thought.
It is.
So prioritizing sleep is non-negotiable for brain health.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Genius Foods provides some helpful tips for optimizing sleep,
Right.
like avoiding blue light at night,
Yes.
creating a relaxing bedtime routine,
Absolutely.
making sure your bedroom is cool and dark.
It all makes a difference.
Okay. Blue light glasses, check. Relaxing bedtime routine, check.
Yeah.
Now let's move our bodies.
Okay.
The book emphasizes that exercise isn't just for physical health, it's a brain booster too.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it makes a distinction between aerobic and anaerobic exercise.
Oh, okay.
Aerobic exercise, things like brisk walking or swimming, are great for overall health, cardiovascular function.
Yeah.
But anaerobic exercise, things like weightlifting or sprinting,
Yeah.
are like strength training for your brain.
So we need both types for optimal brain health.
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
And the book mentions a study
Okay.
where sedentary people
Uh-huh.
with cognitive impairment actually improved their memory
Yeah.
after just 3 months of exercise.
Wow. That's amazing. It's never too late to start.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what makes anaerobic exercise so good for the brain?
Well, it increases AMPK,
Okay.
which is a master metabolic regulator that boosts mitochondria,
Okay.
which are those tiny energy factories in our cells.
So it's like giving our brains a power surge.
Exactly.
Okay, and this is especially important as we age, right?
Absolutely. I mean, maintaining muscle mass and mitochondrial function are crucial for vitality and cognitive function.
Right. Okay, I'm convinced time to hit the weights.
I think so.
Now, are you ready for a peek inside the Genius Foods plan itself?
I am. Bring on the food.
Okay, great. All right, bring on the food. So we've covered a lot of ground so far, but now I'm really curious to hear about the Genius Foods plan itself. It's not a restrictive diet.
No, not at all. It's about enjoying delicious brain-boosting foods. It's about kind of getting back to basics, the way our ancestors ate. You know, think nutrient-dense foods that provide sustained energy and really support brain function.
Okay, back to basics.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
Well, the plan's built around several key food groups,
Mm-hmm.
and it really prioritizes quality over quantity.
Okay.
So first up, healthy fats.
Okay.
They're the building blocks of our brain cells, and they play such a crucial role in, cell membrane function, hormone production, overall brain health.
Yeah, we talked about omega-3s earlier.
Yeah.
What other fats kind of make the cut?
Well, extra virgin olive oil is like a star player.
Yeah.
It's rich in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and it's been shown to support cognitive function, protect
Yeah.
against neurodegenerative diseases.
Yeah, I do love a good olive oil drizzle.
It's so good.
Now, what about saturated fats?
Yeah.
I think there's been so much back and forth about those over the years.
There has.
What does the Genius Foods plan say?
Well, it makes a strong case for kind of rehabilitating saturated fats, especially those from quality sources, like grass-fed butter, ghee, avocado oil.
Okay.
These fats are important for hormone production, cell signaling, brain development.
So it's not about fearing fat, it's about choosing the right kinds of fat.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, and speaking of quality,
Yep.
the Genius Foods plan also emphasizes protein from pasture-raised animals and wild-caught fish.
Right.
Why is the source of our protein so important?
Well, animals that are raised in these more natural environments, they have a different nutritional profile.
Okay.
They're higher in omega-3s, vitamins, antioxidants.
Interesting.
Wild-caught fish are a fantastic source of DHA,
Okay.
which is a crucial omega-3 fatty acid for brain health.
Gotcha.
Think, grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, wild salmon, all great examples.
Okay, those all sound pretty delicious. What about eggs?
Yeah.
Are they still on the naughty list?
No, not at all.
All right.
The cholesterol myth has been debunked.
Yeah.
Eggs are a nutritional powerhouse packed with choline, which is essential for memory and cognitive function. Embrace those yolks.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Now moving on to the plant kingdom.
Okay.
What kind of vegetables and fruits does the Genius Foods plan recommend?
Well, the plan focuses on low-carbohydrate, high-fiber vegetables.
Okay.
Think leafy greens like kale, spinach, collard greens,
Yeah.
cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, those are good.
They are.
What about fruit? Is it off limits?
Well, not entirely.
Okay.
The plan encourages low-sugar fruits like avocados, berries, olives.
Okay.
These fruits are, lower in fructose, higher in fiber and antioxidants.
So lots of variety.
Lots of variety. Yeah. And remember, fiber is your friend.
Yeah.
It feeds the good bacteria in your gut, it supports healthy digestion, and it helps regulate blood sugar levels.
Fiber. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about nuts and seeds?
They're a good source of healthy fats, protein, and fiber,
Mm-hmm.
but they can also be high in calories.
Yeah.
So a handful here and there is a good rule of thumb.
Makes sense. Now let's talk about carbs.
Okay?
We've touched on the negative impact of excessive sugar and processed carbs.
Right.
Does the Genius Foods plan allow any carbs at all?
It does. It's not about eliminating carbs entirely.
Okay.
It includes a 2-week ultra-low carb phase
Okay.
to help you become fat-adapted and reset your metabolism.
Okay.
But after that, you strategically reintroduce carbs based on your individual needs and activity level.
So finding that right balance is key.
Exactly.
What happens after that initial 2-week phase?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of carb refeeds.
Okay. Carb refeeds.
Yeah, these are strategically timed, higher carb meals
Okay.
that can help replenish muscle glycogen, boost leptin levels, support hormone balance.
So it's like cycling between low carb and higher carb periods.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you determine how many carbs are right for you?
Well, the book provides a personalized approach. It takes into account factors like your activity level, body composition, metabolic health to help you determine your ideal carb intake.
I like that.
Yeah.
No cookie cutter diets here.
No, it's about tailoring the plan to your unique needs.
Right. Okay, now the Genius Foods plan isn't just about food, right?
No,
It also addresses lifestyle factors.
it does. Absolutely.
So let's dive into those a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's start with sleep.
Okay, sleep.
We know it's important,
Yeah.
but remind me why it's so crucial for brain health.
It's when your brain does its most important work.
Right.
Consolidating memories, clearing out toxins, repairing damage.
Yeah.
Remember the glymphatic system?
Yeah.
That's the brain's waste removal system,
Yeah.
and it's most active during sleep.
So skimping on sleep really is like letting the garbage pile up in your brain.
It is.
Yeah.
And the book gives several tips for optimizing sleep, like avoiding blue light at night,
Okay.
creating a relaxing bedtime routine,
Yeah.
making sure your bedroom is cool and dark.
Uh-huh.
Even avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed can help.
All great tips. Now, what about stress?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a part of life, but how does it impact our brains?
Well, chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, which can lead to inflammation, brain cell damage, and even cognitive decline.
Wow.
And Genius Foods really emphasizes finding healthy ways to manage stress, like meditation, yoga,
Right.
spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones.
So it sounds like finding ways to de-stress is just as important as choosing the right foods.
I think it is, yeah.
Now let's talk about movement.
Oh, okay.
We've discussed exercise, but are there specific recommendations in the Genius Foods plan?
Yeah, it really encourages a combination of aerobic and anaerobic exercise.
Okay, what would be an ideal exercise routine for a healthy brain?
Well, like we said, aerobic exercise like brisk walking, swimming, or cycling is great for overall health and cardiovascular function. But remember, Anaerobic exercise, like weightlifting, sprinting, or high-intensity interval training,
Yeah.
is particularly beneficial for brain health.
Right. We talked about how it boosts AMPK and mitochondrial function.
Exactly.
It's like strength training for the brain.
It is. And the book also highlights the importance of non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT.
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 Yeah, I've never heard of that.
It's basically all about those little movements we do throughout the day.
Okay.
Things like walking, fidgeting, taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
Oh, okay.
All those little things add up, and they contribute to our overall energy expenditure.
So it's not just about those planned workouts. It's about incorporating movement into our daily lives.
Exactly. The Genius Foods plan encourages you to just find enjoyable ways to move your body regularly,
I like that.
whether it's dancing, gardening, playing with your kids,
Yeah.
whatever gets you moving.
I love that it's about making movement a natural part of your life, not a chore. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked. Supplements.
Okay.
Does the book recommend any?
Well, it acknowledges that sometimes, even with a perfect diet, we might need a little extra support.
Right.
And the Genius Foods plan recommends a few key supplements.
Okay.
Omega-3s are definitely on the list, especially for people who don't eat a lot of fatty fish.
Right.
Vitamin D is another crucial one.
Yeah.
A lot of people are deficient, especially those who live in northern latitudes or don't get much sun exposure.
Right.
And, it's not just about bone health.
Right.
Vitamin D is also involved in neurotransmitter production, brain cell growth, protecting against cognitive decline.
Wow. I didn't realize vitamin D was so important for brain health.
It is.
Are there any other supplements that I should know about?
Well, the book mentions probiotics,
Okay.
which can help support a healthy gut microbiome.
Right. And remember, a thriving gut is essential for a healthy brain.
Exactly. That gut-brain connection is a fascinating area of research.
Yeah.
The book also suggests considering other supplements based on individual needs. For example, some people might benefit from magnesium for sleep and stress management,
Okay.
or curcumin for its anti-inflammatory properties.
So it's about tailoring your supplement regimen to your specific needs,
Okay.
not just taking like a random assortment of pills.
No, not at all. And it's
Wow.
always a good idea to consult with your healthcare provider
Right.
before starting any new supplements.
Makes sense. Now we've covered a lot of information.
Oh, you have.
For someone new to the Genius Foods plan, where's a good place to start?
Well, the book includes a 2-week meal plan
Okay.
to help you kind of get started.
I get
It's designed to kickstart your metabolic transition to fat burning and introduce you to some delicious brain-boosting meals.
Sounds like a great way to ease into things.
Yeah.
What kind of meals are on the plan?
Oh, there are so many delicious options.
Okay.
Remember that Jamaican Me Smarter dish we mentioned earlier? It's a really flavorful ground beef dish with onions, garlic, spices, nutritional yeast.
Okay.
There are also recipes for insanely crispy, gluten-free buffalo chicken wings
All right.
made with almond flour and spices,
Okay.
and cheesy scrambled eggs,
Yeah.
which use nutritional yeast to create a cheesy flavor without dairy.
Okay. I am officially intrigued.
Yeah,
Those recipes alone are making me want to dive into this plan.
I know, right?
What happens after you've completed the 2-week meal plan?
Well, the book provides guidance for transitioning to a more sustainable long-term approach.
Okay.
It's about finding your ideal carb intake,
Right.
incorporating regular refeeds, and really just making healthy choices a habit, not a temporary fix.
So it's about creating a lifestyle, not just following a diet for a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
And the book also emphasizes the importance of listening to your body.
Yes.
And paying attention to how you feel.
Absolutely.
It's about finding what works best for you,
Yeah.
not blindly following rules.
That's so important.
Yeah, we're all different, and what works for one person might not work for another.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about the Genius Foods plan. It's not dogmatic. It's flexible and empowering.
It is.
It provides you with the knowledge and tools to create a brain-healthy lifestyle that's sustainable and enjoyable.
Right.
This has been so insightful. I'm feeling inspired to make some changes in my own life.
I am too.
And remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
By understanding the science behind the Genius Foods plan,
Right.
you can make informed choices that support your brain health for years to come.
That's the goal.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered so much ground already.
We have.
But I'm eager to hear any final thoughts you have on Genius Foods.
Yeah.
Okay, so we explored the challenges our modern world throws at our brains.
Right.
We dove deep into the science of cell membranes and insulin, and even uncovered the power of ketones and that fascinating gut-brain connection.
It is fascinating.
And then we got into the specifics of the Genius Foods plan itself, all that deliciousness, from healthy fats to those tempting recipes.
Yeah.
What are your final takeaways from Genius Foods?
I think the most empowering message from this book is that you have more control over your brain health than you might realize.
Okay.
It's not about genetics or some predetermined fate.
Right.
It's about making choices.
Right.
Choices about what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, how well you sleep.
Yeah.
All of these impact your brain health in really profound ways.
It's like each choice creates a ripple effect, right?
It does.
Influencing everything from our energy levels to our mood, to our ability to focus.
I think so.
And the Genius Foods plan provides a framework, a way of thinking about food as fuel for a sharper, happier, healthier brain.
Exactly.
It's not about restriction. It's about making choices that nourish your brain and support its incredible capacity to learn and adapt and grow.
I agree.
And it's not about being perfect, is it?
Right.
It's about making those gradual, sustainable changes that add up over time.
Progress over perfection.
Exactly.
Well,
and the book also emphasizes the importance of becoming your own biohacker.
yes.
Experimenting, listening to your body,
Right.
finding what works best for you.
Exactly.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
No, we're all unique.
Right.
Different genetics, lifestyles, needs.
Right.
And so it's about finding what makes your brain sing, what gives you energy, focus, clarity, a sense of well-being.
Yeah.
And the book gives you the tools to do that.
Yeah.
From understanding the science behind food choices to incorporating mindful movement and stress management techniques. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah. I'm walking away from this deep dive feeling inspired and empowered.
That's great.
Like I have a toolkit now for taking control of my brain health.
And remember, it's an ongoing journey.
Mm.
There's always more to learn, more to explore about this incredible organ called the brain.
But armed with the knowledge from Genius Foods, I feel like we're well on our way to making those brain healthy choices a priority.
I agree.
I'm definitely feeling motivated to up my omega-3 intake.
Good.
Prioritize sleep like it's a sacred ritual.
Yes.
And maybe even try some of those delicious recipes from the book. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. Any final words of wisdom for our listener?
Just keep exploring. This is just the starting point.
Okay.
Dive into those resources, those studies, those recipes. Keep asking questions, keep challenging assumptions, and just keep seeking out that knowledge that empowers you to take charge of your brain health.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this incredible deep dive into Genius Foods. It's been a privilege to explore this book with you.
It has been. It's been fun.
And uncover its brain boosting secrets.
Lots of good information.
To our listener, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about brain health.
Absolutely.
And given you the knowledge and inspiration to nourish your brilliant mind for years to come.
That's what we want.
Absolutely.